Woo-hoo. Here we are going live. You guys come on in when you can. Let's see, Rich Nutrition is going live. Whew. Oh, guys, let me stretch. Yes. Hey, love. I see, oh, Miss Taylor, how are you? Javier? The savvy guys, come on in. Hey, look, it's always us. When we start off, I'm always going to give you the opportunity to ask some questions before anyone else gets on or before it gets so heavy and I can't answer all the questions. Well, I'm going to answer a lot of questions tonight just by proxy, just by talking about what I'm going to talk about tonight. And you're going to see that it makes all the difference in the world because we all may have health challenges. And we kind of isolate those health challenges and we think of them as something that's peculiar to us. Or like I said, we always think of a disease as an attack on the body. And if you remember last time, I was saying that disease is not a noun. It's not a person, place, or a thing. It's not an entity. It's not an attack on the body. It's not something that we can isolate them and say, oh, this is this disease and this is that disease. I mean, really think about it. Disease is a verb. And I know you guys remember what a verb is. It's an action word. It's an action that's instituted by the body, it's controlled by the body, and it's expressed by the body to get you to pay attention to what it's trying to get you to understand. And again, it's trying to get you to associate your lifestyle with the symptoms that it's presenting. And that's what it is. The medical field, they actually try to get rid of the symptoms. They want to deal with the symptoms. And it's like, that's not it. Again, like I was saying last time, it's like a smoke detector. It doesn't cause your problems. It lets you know what the problem is. But you think, well, if I can get the smoke detector to stop making noise, I've solved the problem. And so, yeah, you can put a hammer to the smoke detector and stop it from making any noise. But you haven't gotten rid of the smoke or the fire causing the smoke. And so you're going to continue to have fire until it sets off another detector and you get another drug and sets off another detector and you get another drug. And so you just keep smashing detectors until they do surgery, get rid of that detector, and we think we solved the problem. It's not going to work like that. Not at all, you guys. You have to understand what dis-ease is. Listen to the word. It's dis-ease. So whenever you're without ease, that's the body trying to tell you that something's going on. And you need to associate that. You need to understand what that's saying. So I will always ask you to cultivate a relationship with your body because you know your body better than anyone else. That's what you're going to get. Of course, you know your body. You know your body better than I do. You can come to me for a consultation and I can tell you all kinds of things. But I'm going to ask you, what are the symptoms that you're having? What is your body saying to you? And then I can look at the signs. I can look at you externally, look at your face, your eyes, your tongue, your breathing, your blood, ask you all kinds of questions, see what I see, and then put that with the symptoms that you're presenting and what you tell me. And then I can figure out something else and we can figure it out together. Because like I said, you know yourself better than anyone else. But what does this all come down to, you guys? And like I said, if you have any questions, jump in and I'm going to, hey, Javier, good evening. So I'm going to jump in and tell you what it is. What is all of this stuff? What does all of these health challenges come down to? I don't care if you call it high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, stroke, cancer, obesity, kidney failure, fibroid tumors, endometriosis, ovarian cysts, fibrocystic breast, respiratory problems, arthritis, bursitis, conjunctivitis. I mean, think about it. Do you know how many words there are for diseases in the body? I mean, what if they say, you know what? Okay, let me pick on somebody I know because they're good, a friend of mine. Javier, they say, Javier, you have von Rickenhauser's disease. What are you going to do with that? Yeah, you got von Rickenhauser. Von what? Von Ricken. Well, exactly. What is that? You can make up any name. The disease in the body is still what's going on in the body. The body is not getting the blood flow, lymph flow, or nerve flow. Remember, the blood feeds the cells. The lymph fluid carries the waste away from the cells, and the nerves move the cells. So you can have some doctor telling you have some kind of problem, and now you go away with what you do is you look up the problem. And now you see the definition of the problem, and now you start thinking about that, and now you start exemplifying that in your body, because that's how the mind works. It does exactly what it thinks you want it to do. And so you buy into it. Remember I said the mind does two things? You always live your life according to the pictures you make in your head and the words you say to yourself. And the pictures you make in your head are based on the words you say to yourself. And you always move towards the familiar and away from the unfamiliar. And the familiar can absolutely be the worst thing on the planet. But because it's familiar, you move towards that. And the unfamiliar can be the best thing on the planet. And you move away from that. And so what's familiar in your parenting, in your parentage, I should say, or in your line, is like, oh, my parents had high blood pressure and diabetes, so I'm going to have high blood pressure and diabetes. I remember this lady years ago came to me with her husband saying, I know I'm going to have high blood pressure and diabetes because my parents had it. I'm like, and before I knew it, I looked at her like, what are you talking about? How are you even languaging that? How are you going to just buy into that? You probably ate the same things that your parents ate, but you can turn that thing around. You can live an entirely different lifestyle. I'm telling you guys, if you're not healthy, if you have health challenges, if you have a problem, then how about becoming someone else? How about becoming that healthy person, that lively person, that vigorous person, that person that increases their blood flow, lymph flow, and nerve flow, the person that's vibrant in everything that they do? Because what does this come down to, you guys? It comes down to energy. That's what it is. It comes down to energy. And it's the energy on a cellular level. Now think about it. An abundance of energy is an abundance of health. Wouldn't you agree? An abundance of energy is an abundance of health. Sickness and disease is an energy crisis. In other words, now your energy is waning. It's going back and forth. It's an energy crisis because now you don't have enough energy in the cells to do their job. And we know that the total absence of energy is death. So everyone on the planet is waning back and forth between an abundance of energy or no energy at all. And because we get older, we think we're supposed to have less energy. And so we accept it and we buy into it and we take it on and we live in it and we stand in it and we say, well, yeah, I'm getting older, so this is supposed to happen. And so what do your cells do when you say that? This is supposed to happen. We're supposed to get weaker. We're supposed to have our muscles atrophy. So our muscles are supposed to get weaker. We're supposed to gain body fat. Our lungs are supposed to shrink. Our bones are supposed to thin out. We're supposed to lose our cardiac output. We're supposed to lose the energy that comes out of our cells and tissues and organs. It's like, and if you buy into it, what do your cells say? Your cells are listening to what you're thinking 24/7. I say it over and over again. Your cells are constantly eavesdropping on your internal dialogue and your external speech. Listen, you don't even have to say it. You can think it. Now, remember in my book, Body Intelligence, I said that a thought goes into the body at the speed of light. A thought literally goes into your body faster than any vitamin, mineral, herb, anything that root cells, anything that anyone sells. It goes into your body faster than any of those things. And before you even realize you're thinking that thought, the chemical and electrical energy of that thought is already coursing through your veins. Now, I think that's important because you can eat the right things. You can have all raw fruits and vegetables and their juices. You can do all of this stuff and your thoughts can override all of that. Yeah, I've done this and that, and I've done all these other things, but I got worse because you were detoxifying probably faster than you wanted to. And so you said that, oh, this is not good because you were going back from the way you came with your dis-ease. And so now you said it was bad. No, that's why you have to be clear. That's why you have to be educated. It's all about energy, you guys. Well, think about it. If your heart doesn't have enough energy, if your heart doesn't get the nutrients, remember blood flow, which carries oxygen and nutrients to the cells. So let's just take the heart, since the heart attack is the #1 killer in the country. So if your heart doesn't get enough nutrients and oxygen from the blood, because yes, even though the heart pumps blood to all the other cells, tissues, and organs, believe it or not, it pumps blood to itself. So if your heart doesn't get enough blood, which carries the oxygen and nutrients to itself, what's going to happen? What if you don't get enough food? What if you don't eat for a week? You think you can do your job? What if I put you in a concealed room with no windows and doors, no fresh oxygen? You're breathing your own air. Do you think you can do your job? What if I ran you around Inglewood all day, tied you to the back of my car and drove you up and down from morning to night and just wore you out? You think you can do your job? It's the same thing with your body, you guys. What if I didn't let you rest? You know what? Here, let's all go on a cruise. So we can go on a cruise, but I'm not going to let you sleep. 7-day cruise, but you're not going to be able to sleep all that time. But you can get all the food you want. Yes, you can eat all the food you want, but I'm not going to let you sleep. You going to have any energy? No. Okay, what if I let you sleep as long as you want, but don't give you any food? You think you're going to have any energy? What if I keep pumping you with bad news over and over again? You think you might have any energy? You might eat the food and get the rest. You see how it all plays in? So listen, if you don't get enough blood flow, you don't get enough lymph flow, if the lymph fluid is not carrying the waste away from itself, you're going to have a problem. You can't do what if you didn't poop for 2 or 3 months? You think you can do your job? Your cells poop, just like we do. And if they don't poop enough, they don't get rid of enough, then what do? They atrophy, they die, they get weak, they can't do their job. And now you experience those cells not being able to do their job as dis-ease. And remember, nerve flow. So what if your cells don't get enough nervous energy? What if I wear you out? People have heard about having a nervous breakdown. Why? Because they get so inundated by information. And because your emotions are a byproduct of your thinking, whatever you keep thinking about, whatever you keep paying attention to comes to live in you as your thought life and is worked out in your destination and your circumstances. But it's because of what you're thinking. So think about it. I was talking yesterday about acid and alkaline, how those are balancing things in the body. You know, acid is caustic, it's abrasive, it's harsh, it burns. It's corrosive, it's inflammatory. We all know that. You throw acid in anyone's face, it'll burn. And alkaline is just the opposite. It's cooling, it's soothing, it's dispersing, it's moisturizing. It literally puts the fire of inflammation out. And believe me, I put more fires out than you can shake a stick at. And if you put enough water, I don't care how big the fire is, if you put enough water on it, it goes out. Now in chemistry, it takes 4 parts alkaline to neutralize 1 part acid. But most Americans eat 99% acid foods. And even at Christmas, you know, at Christmas, they have that little iceberg lettuce in that salad, and nobody touches it anyway, but it's not going to alkalize anything. And so think, you guys, that again, it always comes to energy. So if you're over acidic, you're going to be expending energy. Your cells are going to be trying to balance you out, trying to alkalize you. So it's going to try to dump the acid that's in the system. And it's going to try to do that through the kidneys because you don't drink enough water. You can't evacuate it. You can't create enough urine to carry out the acid. And then you eat so many acidic foods. Now your body retains water to try to dilute the acid. It actually produces more cholesterol to protect your blood vessels from the acid. And it'll actually produce fat, make fat so you can store the acid, and it'll leach calcium out of your bones so you can neutralize the acid. And we have all of these problems. Think about it. When the body leaches that calcium out, literally, if it gets in your eyes, you get cataracts. People wonder where it comes from. That calcium in your skin, you get wrinkles. Get that calcium, mix that calcium with the fat in your arteries. You'll get hardening of the arteries. Get that calcium in your kidneys. Now you have kidney stones in your bladder stones. You get into your joints, you have arthritis. And it appears to be this diversity of disease. There's no diversity of disease. This is all happening in the same body. If you guys remember, this is all happening in the same fish tank. You can have red, yellow, blue, green, pink, purple, orange fish. Just because the red fish are sick and they're demonstrating some problem or dis-ease, doesn't mean the other fish don't have a problem. You just don't recognize it yet. And so the medical field says, well, we see it in the red fish. Let's get rid of the red fish. Let's take care of that. But they're all in the same tank, suffering the same thing to a lesser degree. I'm telling you guys, it's always about energy. And you can check your energy right now. How many of you have an abundance of energy? How many feel like you can just get up and go, 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 go? Well, everybody has seen children. When children come over to Roots Nutrition and they get into this open space in the gym, no one says anything. They just take off. They take off and run and jump on the trampoline or get on one of the exercise machines because they have such an abundance of energy. They start to utilize it. They want to express it. They want to express it physically. Even just like a colt, when you have a newborn colt, that colt is just bouncing and jumping around because he has so much excess energy and he expends the energy. And what we tell the children is stop, slow down, don't do this, or give them some ADD medication because they're energetic and they're vibrant. And we're not so energetic or vibrant. And because we're tired, we don't want them making us more tired. Energy is the commodity of health. So what takes your energy away? It's blood flow, lymph flow, and nerve flow being obstructed or occluded or blocked or creating more adhesions or encumbrances. And I love that we use the word constipation because we always understand it. Constipation, but not just in the colon, on a cellular level. So think about it. Your lungs are just a bunch of cells bathing in two fluids. Some of you have respiratory problems out there. You may have asthma, bronchitis, emphysema, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, any kind of difficult breathing. Think about it. When you hear someone snoring, that's difficult breathing. Believe me, noisy breathing is obstructed breathing. Does that make sense? When you can hear someone breathing from across the room, you go, oh, they're just snoring. No, their airway is obstructed. They might have riles. We have different lung sounds that we learn on the fire department. You might have riles and rhonchi and, different mucus in the sacs or the bubbles in your lungs. And then you go into smoke and you just make things even worse. But the thing is, you can have obstructions in your lungs and you think, oh, okay, I need albuterol, I need a breathing treatment, I need this and that. And yes, as a stopgap, you do need it. I'm giving it to people. Yes, you do need it. But as a stopgap, so you can keep living to take care of the problem. But we don't live to take care of the problem. We live to have another albuterol treatment. We live to do the same thing. And now, because we're taking this steroid, your adrenal glands won't produce any more steroids because if you take it, your body won't make it. But we keep taking it. And so now we're killing our adrenal glands. Think about it. You know what happens when you do that? You get AGE, adrenal gland exhaustion. Sounds like age to me. Adrenal gland exhaustion. Because your adrenal glands is your life force. It is your energy. I mean, think about it. When you get scared, you're ready to fight, flight, or run, or freeze because you're so overwhelmed. Well, the thing is on the fire department, because I got acclimated to emergencies over and over and over again. So I was able to take more stress than the average person. Because now you see it, you don't react, you just do what you need to do. You follow your training. And that's why we're drilled every weekend. This is what I want you guys to get. I don't know how old you are, the people online. I don't know how old you are, but those of you that may have missed it, I said that there are more people over the age of 50 in the United States than any other time in history. And every month, 10,000 people turn 65 years old, which means 10,000 to 64, 63, 62, and so on. And because this has been an ongoing thing, 10,000 to 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. So people are on the planet, they're living longer, but they can live longer with health challenges. And my thing is to deal with that. Now, I can try to deal with it one-on-one with each health challenge someone may have, but I've come up with a system, if you will. And detoxification is a system, but it's not a system to treat or to remove symptoms, but it's a system to remove the root causes of what we call disease. And if you don't remove the root cause, you'll be forever chasing drugs, medications, poisons, toxins, herbs for that matter. Oh yeah, some people will treat you with herbs like the pharmacists and doctors treat you with pharmaceuticals. I knew this lady, she bought $3,500 worth of herbs. You don't treat, it's get to the root of the problem. That's why we call roots nutrition. What is this treating? It's like we got the same medical mentality. Now we're just doing it with herbs. And we think it's magic. So we think, okay, well, it'll become vegan is magic, vegetarian is magic. If we do keto is magic. We do like omnivore, we do some of this and some of that is magic. We try all of these different things. And I tell you over and over again, you came out of the earth. You have to remain in the earth and partake of the earth in order to live. Look, you guys, this is my experience on the fire department. And I was on for 32 years. And I've seen it on the job, and I've been retired for 13 years, and I've seen it off the job. Do you know you can make a sudden move and hurt yourself and damage your body? Damage your body for the rest of your life when you get older. You just make a sudden move. Why? Because you've lost your muscular strength, you've increased body fat, your lungs have shrank, your bones thinned out, and now you lose that cardiac output, that reserve capacity in your heart, the energy in your heart. So all of a sudden you make a quick move because you had to jump out of the way because of a car was coming, and now you trip and fall, and now you're hurt. And now you have damage. You might have broken a femur or a hip or whatever. Now usually from a year that time they're dead because they stop moving. They become non-ambulatory, if they will. They don't have as much activity. But those that survive, they do. They may go from a cane, go from that to a cane, to a walker, then to a wheelchair, and then to the grave. But it's still because of inactivity. People don't know when you have to, like if you fall asleep at a picnic and you jump up because you see these Rottweilers coming after you, and you have to take off this sudden exertion when you're not trained for it, it can kill you. That's when people have heart attacks because they're weak. Their heart is already weak. They don't have the energy or the capacity for sudden exertion. So people like literally, people can just run after the bus. It can be a half a block away, but because they're totally out of shape, they're fragile, they don't have the capacity. And that's what I mean by the reserve capacity in your heart. See, if you had some reserve, you can take off and it'll not be a big deal. But if you don't have the reserve, you just run after a bus and do a face plant. You can see a dog and just try to run into your house to get away from the dog and have a face plant because of this sudden exertion. You don't want that. That's what I'm telling you. Sudden exertion or a sudden move can damage your life for the rest of your life, age you, or kill you. That's the truth. And that's the thing, you guys, I'm telling you. That's why I'm talking about this total body reset. Because instead of trying to deal with all of these different ailments or diseases or problems or health challenges that we say we have, let's build life and health in the body, in every cell, tissue, and organ. Let's do that. Let's give every cell, tissue, and the organ the energy that they need to perform their task. Your brain uses 25% of your energy all the time, no matter what. I don't care how lazy you get, whatever energy you have left, your brain is going to take 25% of it. And you know you would need energy for your lungs. Think about it. Your lungs literally is the digestive system for air. And the reason why I'm getting on the lungs because air, the oxygen is the number one nutrient because without it, you'd be dead in 46 minutes. But people forget that your lungs is the only digestive system for air. So your lungs has to extract the oxygen out of the bulk air because most of the air is 79% nitrogen. It's only 21% oxygen. So just like your digestive system has to extract the nutrition out of the food you eat to feed 100 trillion cells, your lungs have to extract the oxygen out of the air to give it to the 100 trillion cells to carry to where it's needed. And so if your lung capacity is shrinking, and then shrinking even more, not just 20% by the time you're 40 and 40% by the time you're 70, because you're not creating an oxygen debt. Well, we go beyond that. Now we smoke. Oh, well, it's just weed because it's natural. It's a herb. You're still diminishing your lungs. Now I don't care what kind of smoke you put in your lungs. I'm telling you, it's not good. Well, you don't have to ask me. I'm telling you. And tell your friends. You can smoke a blunt. You can do this, you can do that. You can go on and do those other things that people do. You are diminishing your lung capacity even more so than it does happen to you naturally without creating that and increasing your tidal volume. That's your lung capacity. But then your heart, if your heart doesn't have enough strength, enough energy to do its job, that's why it's easy to have a heart attack. And that's why so many people, literally in my career, I've seen it Monday mornings, early Monday mornings, like usually 5 a.m, people have a heart attack. And this is anecdotal now, I think it's because they hate their job or they've been living a life or working a job 8 hours a day. This is what most people do, you guys. Tell me if it's true or not. Most people spend themselves all week long in hopes of buying themselves back on the weekend. Right? But you know what's worse than that? And because you never get to buy yourself back on the weekend because it's just the weekend. You're like, thank God it's Friday night. So you go do your thing on Friday night. You may go out. Then Saturday you do this or that or whatever. You probably just lay around wanting to recover and buy back the weekend and so you relax. And then Sunday you do a little something. And Sunday evening, afternoon, you start thinking about work again. And so you start to get sad, depressed. I got to go back to this 9 to 5 or whatever. But you know what's worse than spending yourself all week long in hopes of buying yourself back on the weekend? Spending yourself an entire career in hopes of buying yourself back in retirement. And everything is diminished. Now you're older. Now you can't move like you used to. You don't have the strength that you used to. You don't have the agility that you used to have. And you were waiting all of these years to retire so you can live. Always putting it off. I can't wait to retire so I can live. This is how the mind works. Or I can't wait to move so I can live. Or I can't wait to buy this new house so I can live. Or I can't wait to get married so I can live. Or I can't wait to get divorced so I can live. Or I can't wait for the children to go away and so I can live. Or I can't wait for the children to come back so I can live. It's just however you explain it in your own consciousness. It's always putting out living somewhere in the future, which is indicative of you're not living now. And I'm going to tell you, all you have is now. And now has been defined as 0 to 5 seconds. Because there's future. The future only exists as an imagination. The past exists as a memory. And you know what the real truth is? And that's why I say this is how the mind works. The mind has memory and imagination. Well, memory replays all the events, circumstances, and experiences of the past. Your imagination pre-plays all the imagined events and circumstances and experiences of the future. But neither one of those things exist in time and space. The past only exists as a memory and the future only exists as an imagination. But they're not real. You can't give me your past, nor can you give me your future, because they don't exist. And believe it or not, you guys, I'm going to tell you the truth. It's all imagined. Even the way your past was, it's the way you imagined it was. Because somebody from the past can say, oh, no, baby brother, baby sister, that didn't happen like that. This is what happened. But how you imagined it in the past is how you thought it happened. And now somebody brings you up to date. And now you so-called, imagine the future of how it's supposed to be. And so now when the future doesn't turn out the way you thought it would be, you have that cognitive dissonance. Now it's like, oh my gosh, now you're miserable. And people say to themselves, I remember my nephew says, oh my gosh, he was sad. I'm actually 3 months older than he is. And when I turned 40, I was elated. I was like, okay, yeah, what else am I gonna do? I was on the fire department, kicking it. I worked 15 more years. So I'm running and jumping from rooftop to rooftop, climbing through windows, putting fires out, chasing people down, chasing fires down, people, because they, sometimes people die and the spouse just runs because they don't know what to do. So have to chase them down, or chasing somebody down with a knife. Yeah, we even get into things like that. But people don't get it. It's like, this is your life. This is now is the only time that you have. And now has been defined as 0 to 5 seconds. All of this imagining and memories of the past and the future, of course, is all made up. It's a conjuration. So since we do conjure things up, and that's why I say your personality is your personal reality, why don't you conjure it up as good? Why don't you conjure it up as positive? Why don't you conjure it up as, you know what? It doesn't matter what happens. It's working together for my good, because our work is good. It's either working for you or working on you, and that makes it good. If you can buy into that, if you can reframe your circumstances like that. But I'm telling you, you cannot do anything that you want to do. You can't even do what you came in time and space to do without your health, without your energy. You can want to do it as much as you want to. You can't do it if you don't have the energy. It's like, to me, energy is the greatest tool we'll ever have. You can be out in the middle of a highway. And then, I just did a trip, from Chicago to Kentucky to Atlanta and back to Kentucky and back home. I can imagine there were so many dark roads back there. In the middle of the night. What if we had gotten a flat tire in the middle of the night and I had the tire, but I didn't have a jack? I can want to change that flat as much as I want to, but I don't have the tools. And the greatest tool you'll have is your energy to do what you came in time and space to do. You can have all the ideas. You can have a plan. You can so-called stick to the plan. You can so-called like, okay, I'm going to stay focused. I'm not going to move too slow. And now you don't have enough energy to do it. Now you have a stroke. I have a guy that I came on the fire department with, face plant, 50 years old. Just a heart attack, 32 years old. See, it doesn't matter what the age is. What's more crucial is how long you've been on the planet to allow this waste to accumulate, or to allow your body to degenerate. Everybody knows if you don't use it, you lose it. But because we already know it, we can't hear it anymore. It's called already always listening. In other words, you heard it before, now you can't hear it again because it's actually redundant. And so it just kind of goes in and bounces back off. But I'm telling you, I'm pleading with you. This is your life. This is your one and only life this side of heaven, and you need to take care of it. You need to take care of every single cell in your body. And I don't want you going around. I mean, New Year's is coming and you're going to make your resolutions and you're going to do maybe some of the same things you did last year. Say, I'm going to do better this time. I'm going to do better, and wind up doing the same thing. All I'm saying is, if you like, you can give me the opportunity to show you something different. Doesn't take a long time. As far as the exercise is concerned, literally only 10 minutes, three songs on your favorite playlist. You'll be in and out. And it'll be simple. It'll be innocuous. We'll initially take you through the motions and then gradually increase the intensity. Gradually. It's like a baby learning to crawl. And they gradually move a few times and then they get better and better. Or baby learning to walk. How long are you going to give your baby? How much time are you going to give your baby to walk? You're going to give them all the time they need. And so the thing is, I'm going to show you how to get a fit body on a cellular level in 10 minutes a day and eating in a particular way. But I'm telling you, in 30 days, it's going to change your life entirely. And your health challenges that you think are health challenges, they'll be dissipated. They have to be dissipated. Why? Because they're going to be dissipated or displaced by health. You don't have to worry about disease. You don't have to worry about pathology. You don't have to worry about any health challenges. Just build health. Here it is. You have a bad heart. How do you build a healthy heart? You have bad lungs. How do you build healthy lungs? You have a bad liver. How do we build a healthy liver? Bad kidneys. Let's make some good kidneys. Let's raise that kidney function. Remember, the medical field said that aging is a decline in mitochondrial function. Why do they say that? Because the mitochondria are the energy-producing cells in the body. And we know energy is the commodity of health. So a decline in mitochondria, being the energy-producing cells in the body, and you don't have as much, let's figure out how can we increase the function of mitochondria. As a matter of fact, how can we add more mitochondria? Since they're the energy-producing cells, and energy is the abundance of health, not just the abundance of health, it's all at the health that we need, because now everything can function. I mean, what if your pituitary gland doesn't have enough energy? Or your eyes don't have enough energy? Or your bones or your muscles don't have enough energy? See, that's what we can relate to. We can relate when we're not as strong physically in our muscles, but we don't relate that to the weakness in our organs and tissues and cells. It's the same thing. It's a display of what's going on internally. It's just an outward expression. And because your physical body is being that way, and it is the temple, but your mind is the altar at which you pray, so now your body is influencing your thinking. I was just telling someone the other day, listen, if your glands and organs are working, the glands and organs are the government in the body, you guys. They have chemical messengers that make everything work. And I know guys have this low testosterone. Listen, testosterone is more than just for having sex. Testosterone is for you to be amped, so you can have fire, so you can go after what you want to go after. The energy to just possess whatever it is you're looking for, to progress. If you don't have enough testosterone, you don't even want to do anything. You'll be apathetic, complacent. I'm telling you, you're just like, you don't want to do anything. You won't have any assertiveness because it's chemical. It literally is. And so when you move your body, like I'm talking about in a total body reset, you will signal your body and hormones that you're not only fit for survival, you're here to conquer whatever it may be. Not just your physical body, you'll be able to conquer whatever it is that stands in front of you. So now when you get an obstacle in front of you, it's like, well, I got things to do. It's just like the guy, I always think of the guy in Terminator. You know, he had like a 50 caliber, carrying a 50 caliber. Normally the 50 caliber is on the, the Jeep or whatever, or the tank. And so this guy is carrying a 50 caliber, and one of the guys looks at him and is like, you're bleeding. He said, man, I ain't got time to bleed. That's because he was focused. He was on a mission. And I'm trying to give you a mission for the new year to get your body under and bring it into subjection. Don't be body ruled. Don't let your body tell you what you need to do. Don't let your body tell you, oh, you don't feel like that. You don't feel like this. Oh, you're just going to go through another year. You're going to set another New Year's resolution and drop off 2 weeks later. This is your life, you guys. This is the time. This is the only time you have. I just told somebody just now before this talk. I said, listen, your time is your life, and your life is your time. When your time runs out, your life runs out. And I'm telling you guys, we only have so many days in time and space. And I know we think of our life in terms of years, but you know what? In 32 years on the fire department, I saw people turn off like a switch. I always say red lights don't literally stop people because I've seen it over and over and over again. The little yellow lines in the middle of the street, they don't keep people on the other side. They can come right over, bam, and do a head-on collision. All the things that keep us safe. Oh, we can stay at home. Let's stay in the house and stay out of danger. And then a car comes right in through the wall and kills you. And I'm not saying that for you to be afraid of anything like that. Hey, things happen. I've seen it. All kinds of things happen. Things that you wouldn't even believe happen. But the thing is, what do you have control over? What can you do? What can you do about your physical health? All of the other stuff goes on. But this is your life. And I'm telling you, there's a way to make it better. And when you have the energy, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, man, you can conquer anything. Nobody got, well, he said, I ain't got no time to bleed. I said, I ain't got no time to be sick. No, that's right. That's why everybody, literally, I just make it part of my language. You know, I always say, what you language habitually, you think habitually. What you think habitually, you feel habitually. What you feel, you believe. What you believe, you behave. So your language is dictating your life. And if you say it repeatedly, habitually, consistently, and daily, you're going to live it out repeatedly, habitually, consistently, and daily. Because it's the way your language, your life. This is the way it is. Oh, that's this way. Well, there you go. And I say, no, it's really not that way. No, you really can make a difference in 10 minutes a day. Oh, I don't think so. Well, that's where we live. This is your life. You can make all the difference in the world. Remember when you were 5 years old, when you were 8? Remember you were 16? Remember when you turned 30? Maybe you turned 40, maybe 47. All of those people are still wrapped up in the convolutions of your brain. You remember all the gifts and talents that you had. Remember all the aspirations that you had. Remember all the goals that you had. And sometimes if those goals aren't or haven't been met, now you think like you start getting depressed because you haven't. No, forget that. You can do what you want to do at any age. Yes, at any age. And that's why I said the other day, muscle knows no age. If you get blood flow, lymph flow, and nerve flow to every cell, tissue, and organ, you will become another person. And the person that you will become will be a healthy person, a vibrant person, an energetic person, a person that does what they say and mean what they say and get it done. And that'll be an example to those around you and your children and your grandchildren and for generations to come. And it's up to us, you guys. I'm just here trying to start a youth movement. For people that are older, 50 and older, but I'm telling you, people 40 and younger, they need to do this. Because I see them going down. I see everything being depleted. And people, because they just don't move as much. And I know any of you that are around my age, we played all day. We did some of this Navy SEAL combat training as kids. We jumped off of roofs and jumped from roof to rooftop. We did all kinds of crazy, dangerous things. We rode bikes and did woolies and went up hills without a helmet, without goggles, without, the elbow pads and the knee pads. But we didn't think it was dangerous. We were just living life and having fun. Now kids have all this protective gear, and I'm not saying anything about not having protective gear. I mean, children now are just like coddled and playing games and getting sicker and sicker and having type 2 diabetes, which used to be called adult onset diabetes, because it took years and years for it to happen and occur in your body. Now that happens as a child, and they call it type 2 diabetes because the kids are eating donuts, cookies, cakes, pies, all kinds of crazy stuff. And they jam it up. I remember years ago, I was at this place and, it's like a smorgasbord where you can just get what you want to get, fill your plate up with it. And this little child, he was like maybe 3, 4 years old, I would think at the most. And he actually had man boobs at 4 years old. He had man boobs, had a big fat belly. And I'm looking at him next to me, getting more food on his plate, going back to the table and getting more food on his plate. And his parents would just let him go back and forth, back and forth. And I'm looking at him, and it's like, this kid is stuffing himself. This is not good. And his parents are just eating and talking to each other and doing a thing. Literally, 5 minutes later, I look over, the kid throws up. Literally all over the place. Just puts it all out because the body said we can't take anymore. So it speaks to you. Probably it's going to try to relieve itself. They had to take off his shirt. The waiters and waitresses had to come and clean up. And then they just walked on out to pay their bill. Starting off as a kid. It's ridiculous. I'm at a football game. Here's this lady, 300 pounds, and her little girl, she's like a normal little girl, maybe 3, 4 years old. She's eating flaming Cheetos. I'm not going to say anything else about that, you guys. This is about us. This is about us leaving a legacy to our children and our children's children and showing people on the planet that, like me, myself, I'm not an anomaly. I'm not special. I grew up eating biscuits and syrup and sugar water and all kinds of crap and not eating at all. Maybe I was in a fasted state. Maybe that was the best thing for me back then. But this is your life. And I'm starting a youth movement with those that are so-called older. I'm talking about killing the game. I'm talking about changing your life across the board, just exuding so much energy, doing things, running and jumping and clearing. But I'm going to show you how to do it specifically. So now you can actually sign up anytime ever. You can actually go to totalbodyresetnow.com. That's totalbodyresetnow.com. And see what we have in store for you. I hope you guys have some questions because I know I'm talking fast and I'm just spitting all this stuff out. But I'm telling you, it's not just anecdotal. I'm seeing the stuff that I saw in my entire career and what I saw after the career. I mean, like when I talk about these sudden moves, I'm telling you, I was at the mall day before yesterday. I was at the mall day before yesterday. You know, the escalator goes up and down, so people get on and just go up and down and they do their thing. I'm telling you, when that escalator stops and is not working, people are huffing and puffing at the top of the escalator. Now I want you to listen to this. People are huffing and puffing going down the escalator. Yeah, actually, going down is 40% easier than going up. And they're still huffing and puffing. And these are young people. I mean, it's like, what is that? What is that a display of? That's a display that children are getting weaker. And that's why I said last time, when they so-called tried to do this, no child left behind, and they took PE out of the schools, worst thing on the planet. Worst thing on the planet. Taking PE out of the schools, so now the children thinking they're going to study more during that period that they had PE. No way. Grades are going down. But you know what? I read this book. There's a book called Spark. And this guy, he front-loaded exercise, literally at the beginning of the day. In other words, he took this school and then had them exercise at the very beginning before they did any academics. Do you know all of those children got smarter, better grades immediately? Immediately. And then he did it at another school to see if it would really work. And I know it did. And see, the thing is, I want to do the same thing. I told myself years ago, and I know I was still working and doing, just being busy, but I want to do, I'm not going to say what I'm going to do. I want to do something like that in this small school district to prove that it is true. I know it's true because when you get children to increase their blood flow, lymph flow, and nerve flow, which is essentially creating their energy, which is essentially increasing their mitochondrial function and adding more mitochondria to their system, it affects the brain as well. And now they get better grades because they're active. Inactivity causes aging and sickness and disease. Activity increases all of that, changes all of it across the board. And just because you got older doesn't mean it's time to stop. You got to come with me, walk with me. Let me show you. We'll take you slowly, and build you up. Like I said, exercise is simple. It's time over intensity. You can increase the time or increase the intensity. My thing is 10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes. Give me 3 songs on your favorite playlist, and let me take you through the motions and continue. Just 10 minutes a day. Let me gradually take you higher. Let me gradually increase the intensity. Gradually, where it seems kind of innocuous. It's almost like, okay, you're doing squats, simple squats, and now I put some keys in your pocket. That's not perceptible to your nerve system. And now you're doing this like, oh, it doesn't feel like anything, but I put more keys in, I put more keys in, I put more keys in. Then after a while, you got all this extra weight, but you're doing the squats like it's nothing. That's like a simple example. It's a metaphor of what I'm talking about. We can turn this thing up and we can change the world. Anyway, let's see. Any questions? Let's see, what time is it? I want to make sure I don't go over. I have things to do this afternoon, but I like to answer questions. Oh, how long is the program? Oh, it's 30 days. It's a 30-day total body reset. And it's reset in the cells. But I'm telling you, your skeletal muscles, all your visceral organs, the way you work the organs, tissues, and cells, glands, and organs is through your body. You have to move your body. Everybody knows when someone's bedridden, they'll get the bed sores, decubitus sores, and they're not moving. Well, and I guess if you've had a relative, that was in the bed and their tidal volume goes down because they're not moving, their lung capacity shrinks even faster. And I know most of you guys don't know, and maybe we'll explain it, but say like your lungs are this big. Well, you have a dead space in your lungs that you never even breathe into. Yes, it's a dead space, and that's where all kinds of things can happen in there. Yeah, you can get viruses, bacterial, fungal forms, mold, yeast, and you can get things in that dead space and it affects your lungs because you're not expanding your lungs. You're not increasing your tidal volume because you're not getting out of breath. I don't care if you walk every day. If you don't exert yourself, now when you have to exert yourself unexpectedly, it's like your body is traumatized. Now, when you make a sudden move unexpectedly, now you have an injury. You have a sprain or a fracture or whatever else, like I've seen in my entire career. Think about doing a sudden move. I remember when we got females on the job. Most guys have to carry something just growing up. They might carry furniture in, like you're trying to go up the stairs and now the furniture shifts. We kind of automatically drop our knee and get the weight back under and then bring it back up. But most of the time, females didn't grow up doing that. And so we could be carrying something, and now when the weight shifts, they just drop it and let it go. And I'm not saying anything about females. It's just that's something that they didn't grow up doing. And so by and large, men kind of had the experience of having to shift their weight immediately to stop it. But now as we get older, we don't even know how to shift anymore. And so I'm trying to explain to you in your natural life, when you have to exert yourself unexpectedly, I'm telling you, you're going to have a heart attack. And when you have to do a sudden move, like I said, sprinting out of the way, or a dog coming, or running away from a car, or just jumping because you saw a hole that you were getting ready to step in, and you collapse. And literally fold like a cheap suitcase because you haven't built the strength to do it. And I'm telling you, and you can do it. You can fight that. You can resist all of that by gradually increasing your muscular strength. Was to gradually increase your fat loss, was to increase your lung capacity, will increase your bone density, and increase your cardiac output. In other words, how much your heart can pump. When you love to pump more blood in the same 60 seconds than you did before, some people have, heart rates of like 68, 65, 60, and you can get it down to 50 something, 54 or 50. It's because your heart is just stronger. You can pump more blood with less heartbeats. That's a good thing. And I'm telling you, it all comes down to, and I'll explain it, it all comes down to blood flow, lymph flow, and nerve flow. But we're the ones that have to do it. And so if I gave it to you in a nutshell, let's see, it's starting to sound like people on my meals and it works. I'm glad I did that. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you did the small changes too. And that's all it does, is take small changes. I drove the fireboat and every minute, down in the harbor. And you might not believe it. You think to turn a boat is going to be this big thing, but the fireboat, the steering wheel was like a thumb, like a steel thumb, the size of a thumb. And so we're moving out of the breakwater, and I'm thinking like this little thing is changing the direction of this entire boat. And that's how it is with the ship. They have anchor. It's like you can shift your life gradually, little bit, line by line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. And I'm telling you, in 30 days, shifted so much, you'll feel new. You'll feel like someone else because you didn't know you were in this cloud. It's like a fish in water. You ask the fish, hey, how do you like the water? He's like, what water? Because he was born and raised in it. And so if you were born and raised in an idea of sickness and disease and non-health and eating horribly and not really increasing your health naturally, you don't know how far removed you are from a healthy body and healthy mind and healthy emotions. You just don't know because you've never been there. It's like taking somebody out of this smog-filled place because they grew up in here, and now you take them to Hawaii or Jamaica, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is fresh air? You never knew. So that's the thing I'm going to do with you guys. I'm trying to look at the clock to see what time it is. I think I've gone over already. But anyway, like I said, if you don't have any questions, I'm going to talk about this in more detail tomorrow and the next few days so you can really get an understanding. I really want to focus on the skeletal muscles today. You guys know your muscles atrophy, and you have to move the muscles. You have to add some resistance. And now, yeah, we do have the gravitational force that's continually exerting itself on our muscles But I'm sure you guys know someone that have to get one of those electric shears to pick them up and push them up to their feet. Really, because they can't get up. And they have to have a chair to help them get up. Now, people that can't walk down the stairs, they have their little chair that you sit in, and the chair takes you down the stairs. That's all inactivity. And let me just say it again, you guys. Inactivity equals aging. The medical field says a decline in mitochondrial function. And I agree. My question is, why does the mitochondrial decline? The mitochondria declines because of inactivity. The more inactive you are, the more decline in mitochondrial function. The more active you are, the less decline, and even more active, you don't only stop that decline, you increase more mitochondria. So if you have more energy producing cells, if you have more furnaces that are burning energy, of course they're going to burn more fat. Of course you're going to ignite those muscles. You're going to stimulate those muscles. You're going to fire up those muscles and just get them working again. It's just like getting an old car that's been sitting in the garage and now you started, try to get it going, and it might be choking as it started, but you keep doing it. You go back there every day, you change the oil, put new gas in, you clean everything up, all of a sudden it starts running again. It kicks all the smoke out. Yeah, because we're going to detoxify, kicks all the bad stuff out. And we're going to kick it out of our bowels, our bladder, our lungs, our skin. We're going to get it out of our eyes, our sinuses. We're going to get it everywhere, out of our genitalia. You guys want to move? You guys want to feel vigorous again? You want to be able to live and expand your life in every area of your life and feel bright, vibrant as you ever never felt before in your life. That's what it comes down to. And yeah, I call it like reverse aging, because if a decline in mitochondrial function is called aging, and now you increase the mitochondrial function, I would call that reverse aging. I don't know. I'm just extrapolating from what I'm told. And so I just want you guys to follow along with me. I appreciate that. Thank you. But anyway, keep going. Oh my gosh. Well, you got to ask me a question. I'm just telling you guys, this is it. And all things being equal. No, seriously. We know how long we've been on the planet. You know how old you are. You know how much less energy you have today than you may have had just 5 years ago. And then 5 years before that. And then another 5 years before that. I'm telling you, let's kick our energy up. And let's just build it. Let's have more energy in the next month, in this new year, 2024. Let's have more energy than we've ever had before. Let's show the world that we're creating a youth movement like never before. Yes, I'm talking about older people with a youth movement. And I'm languaging to that, so you can start languaging that. Because what you language habitually, you think and feel and believe and behave habitually. So we're going to change the language. We're going to detox our language. We're going to detox our thinking. We're going to detox our emotions. We're going to detox our relationships. Yeah, some relationships are aging you too. I always say relationships either add to you or subtract from you. They either multiply or divide you. There's nothing like quality relationships. I was talking about it yesterday. The World Mental Health Organization said the lack of quality relationships kills more of us than obesity and lack of exercise. And I also said that they said the feeling that cannot find its expression in tears may cause other organs to weep. Yes, the feeling that you have, that you're tired of your life, or you want to do something else and you feel like you've been interrupted, you haven't been able to express yourself like you have a thwarted intention or uncommunicated thing that you wanted to say. That feeling that cannot find its expression in tears may cause other organs to weep. Well, I'm telling you, it does cause other organs to weep. So you need to detoxify those emotions. You really do. You need to get all of that stuff out, because energy, if we know it's all energy, well, you can have negative energy. You can have acidic energy. And just like you can have acidic foods and fluids, you can have acidic energy moving around in your cells and tissues and organs. But just like you can have acidic foods and fluids, you can have acid friends. You can have acid relationships. I can always say you can drive an acid distance to an acid job to get acid pay, to drive back to an acid household with an acid. But I'm telling you, you're just living an acidic life. It's across the board. So when I talk about acid alkaline, just imagine, just lay it out on every area of your life. So I'm talking about building a life an alkaline, energetic life in the next month, and we're going to change the game and show others how to do it. So let's create a community. Let's create the village. I need you like you think you may need me, but I do. It does take a village. That's the African proverb. But you know what? It takes a village to raise an adult, because we're ever learning, we're ever coming into the knowledge of the truth, and that's what I want to do. And you guys may be able to tell me something that I need to know. I definitely believe that. That's what a symbiotic relationship is all about. We want people saying the same thing. So let's create our own community. Let's just start where we are. You know, sometimes we try to solve all the problems of the world and do this and that and everything. You know what? No, solve the problems with the people right around you and under your own sphere of influence. Just that. Let's just take care of each other and see how this thing expands. That's what I want to do. If you guys can do that. I appreciate it. Somebody tell me what time it is. I have no idea. That's what I need. Yeah, you guys. Anyway, I have a lot to talk about. I'm going to talk about tomorrow. Like today, I'm going to talk about more about the physical, changing the physical body. And now tomorrow, you know what? Here's a preview of tomorrow. If you build more muscular strength, now you have more furnaces to burn fat all the time. Don't even think about fat. Don't worry about fat. Let fat do its thing. Fat is doing its thing because something is going on in your body. You don't have enough mitochondria. You don't have enough energy producing cells. You don't have enough furnaces. So if you just build the furnace, don't worry about the fat. The fat is going to do what it's supposed to do. It's going to burn off. Remember I gave the picture of the steak, the fat on the outside of the steak? That fat has to be mobilized into the muscle of the steak, where you see that marbling. That's the fat that'll be burned. So when you build more mitochondria, we're going to mobilize that fat from the outside into the muscle, and it'll burn off. And that's what we'll talk about tomorrow. But we're going to get into all of them over the next few days. We're going to do the muscular strength, getting rid of that body fat, increasing your lung capacity, increasing your bone density, and increasing that cardiac output. So you guys, until tomorrow, I love you. Hope you guys tune in. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, love. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Now remember, totalbodyresetnow.com. totalbodyresetnow.com. If you guys want to sign up, go in and do the thing, let me know the village that I'm going to be working with, so I can tell you and show you some things that you've never seen before. Things that I've gleaned over my whole 32 years on the fire department and since I've been gone. So I feel like a kid. I want to make you feel like one, a child. Let's become children again, you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And write your questions down for tomorrow, okay? You guys all have a good night. Appreciate it. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. And what is this? And I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see. Oh, there we go. And all right.